Hello, I'm Maiki Oreta, and welcome to Trade Talks, where we sit down with industry leaders, innovators, and change makers who are shaping markets, challenging norms, and making an impact. Here we explore these strategies that drive progress, the challenges that push industries and communities forward, and the ideas reshaping the way we work and live. What's new, what matters, and what's next? Let's find out together. The men's grooming industry in the Philippines continues to expand, driven by shifting consumer habits and a growing emphasis on personal care. As more Filipinos prioritize grooming and wellness, this sector has grown into a multi-billion peso industry, supporting jobs, retail spending, and service innovation. This trend not only fuels business growth, but also strengthens the broader economy through employment and local supply chains. Established brands are evolving, finding new ways to stay ahead.
Happy to be here.
Okay, you're at the helm of one of the top barber chains in the country, if not the. So 36 years ago, in 1988, you've grown so much since. You have 70 stores nationwide in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. What's driving the growth of this industry?
Well, I think in the past 5 years, really the pandemic has made such a mindset shift to the general population. If you remember, during the pandemic, so many of our privileges were stripped off, whether it was to go on a hike outdoors or even at that time, barber shops were top story and people couldn't go to the malls and get their haircuts. And I think when that happened, the trauma, when that happened, they suddenly realized that it's very important for them to take care of themselves. And I think Bruno's Barbers continues to be at the center of all of that.
So changing consumer habits following the pandemic. So the revenge spending that you saw in personal grooming, in your niche specifically, it never went down.
Correct.
So even after the pandemic, it just increased.
Yes. It's so much more energy in the personal care industry now.
Okay. That said, I know that you're looking to grow your retail network from the 70 stores you have now nationwide. Your ambitions are to grow to 300 within what time frame?
By 2030. That's the direction I got from the board. So I hopefully we can get that done by 2030.
And this is all through internally generated funds? Are you looking into an IPO?
Right now, I think in the medium term, we're looking at internally generated funds. But of course, we're carefully studying the IPO side of things. Perhaps if there's a growth prospect that would require us to get public financing at that level, then we're more than happy to study. And we're, as we speak, I think we're studying that prospect.
Yeah, growth prospects.
Yes.
Speaking of growth prospects, you've set your sights. I mean, a lot of your stores are in Metro Manila, but you're also looking to expand overseas?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And actually, we tried doing that in Malaysia a couple of years ago. Unfortunately for that, we opened right before the pandemic, and so we weren't able to sustain that business. But every day we think of other countries we hope to be able to enter, try to explore different markets, and hopefully bring the brand, the Philippine brand, Bruno's Barbers, to these markets.
Yeah, going back to the industry, where do you see it over the next 5 to 10 years?
Still strong. I think in the next 5 to 10 years, my thoughts are, again, back to the pandemic, this generation that was very much affected by that memory. I'm not a scientist or a statistician to kind of say when that, but I think my estimation is about 10 years, and then maybe by the time a new generation will be coming in that will forget about the pandemic. Very strong, and I think more experimentation insofar as what service offerings are being offered to the market will continue to to be seen.
What are your top selling services?
Still the haircuts.
Still the haircuts.
Yes.
Okay. And what about products?
We have pomades that's doing well right now. We also have hair waxes. It's all doing well. We have shampoos and soaps in the market as well.
Well, everybody just wants to look good and take
Yes,
good
and feel
care
good.
of themselves.
Yes,
Of course,
yes.
that's the confidence you need to be the entrepreneur or to the employee to be in business,
Yes,
right?
yes.
All right. Are Filipino consumers willing to pay more now for services? We had in 2024 inflation at 3.2%, well within the government's 2 to 4% range. And that's the target for 2025 through to 2026, 2 to 4% inflation. How is that for your business? How is that for the industry?
For us, I think we're at the healthy price point right now. It's still very manageable. But I think as the economy continues to grow, as we've been experiencing the past couple of years, more and more the general population will have that access to excess funds that they can use to avail of these services. So I think I'm still seeing a lot of growth in that respect. Yeah.
Now, interestingly, last February 3, the House of Representatives approved House Bill 11376, or the Wage Hike for Minimum Workers Act, wherein the daily minimum wage of workers in the private sector, regardless of employment status, increases by 200 pesos a day. How do you see that affecting the industry?
Well, for us at Bruno's Barbers, not much. I think the impact will be manageable. But again, I think it requires more careful study for each and every industry. Some industries have more employees in their manpower, and I'm sure those industries might be affected. But I think as long as it's sustainable for all of these industries, then by all means, right?
Yeah.
I think we should do it.
In your business, what's how many people, percentage of minimum wage earners?
I'd say 40% of our business.
Okay, so with the implementation, if the possible implementation of this wage increase, might you have to pass on, that higher prices onto the consumers, or do you think mababawi nyo sa volume?
Hopefully mabawi sa volume, and hopefully we don't have to pass that on to the consumers anytime soon.
Okay, all right. Another question. What do you think is interesting? What are the new trends shaping this industry?
I think more and more we're seeing experimentation in terms of the service offerings. Like I've been recently seeing a lot of hair spa services going on where they have a machine and someone enters the machine and water just comes out.
That's all the range. I mean, I think everybody just enjoyed. I mean, when you go to the salon or the barbershop, everybody likes the massages. Everybody likes the shampoo and all the pampering that comes with that. And I think some of the business are just kind of jumping off from those demands.
Correct.
So how do you see this industry changing and consumer preferences changing? There's so many more offerings now on the market.
Absolutely. I think that the industry will continue to remain strong. There will be certain trends that will be coming out and being tested in the market. Whether they will be sustainable is for us to see, if it will be. But I think generally speaking, the excitement and the service and personal care industry will always continue to be here, especially in the Philippines.
Okay, and just some fun questions, Marco. Who do you think are the best groomed businessmen or politicians in the Philippines, people that are top of mind?
I think I have more politicians for now. Top of mind, the president, BBM. I think he's well groomed. Tito Soto, I think he's also well groomed. Bam Aquino also is another guy I think I have in mind. I'll also add Ping Lacson. From the business side, I think would have to be the two Ayala brothers, Lance Gokongwei, of course, Kevin Tan, yeah.
All right, yeah, they take good care of themselves, especially the boys running for Senate.
Yes.
Tito Soto and Bam Aquino, they're going to need to fix up for that. Okay, someone's hair who you would want to touch, who you'd want to improve
easy.
upon.
Donald Trump.
Okay,
Yeah.
And what would you do?
Hopefully we can tame his hair a bit. But yeah, he seems to like his hair a lot, so maybe not much.
Okay, all right. We're taking a short break. Trade Talks will be right back.
Good morning, everyone!
Yeah, throw gesture.
Analyze and over.
I'm Paulo de Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
I'm Ann Assis Carillo, and we are here to add some laughter, good vibes, and unstoppable energy to your morning.
I'm Monique Tuzon. Your mornings are always more fun with us.
I love it.
Thank you for making us your daily morning habit.
Only here on
It's
a beautiful
day!
At BNC, 12 noon doesn't mean break. We're always ready to give you the latest news, even at noon.
And those are the news this hour. Here at home, the Commission on Elections assures the Public Attorney's Office files new complaints. NGCP assures the public its Chinese investors are no threat.
Join Maya Rodriguez, delivering fresh news for you. Newsfeed at noon.
Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Rain Musni. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey.
We empower.
This country deserves a real choice in the next election.
We motivate.
Do not invest money that you're not able to afford to lose.
Changes that are vital.
We're monitoring the sale of these products online.
Follow the money with Rain Musni.
Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Always on top.
the latest news, national issues.
For universal healthcare, the law is established, the implementing rules and regulations, even the budget has been defined.
The political scene.
I'm glad that he made that perfectly clear, that they will always be behind us.
And conversations with prominent personalities.
There's only one reason, politics. They want them out. What is dangerous is we might have a reorganization of governments.
All these firsthand at the forefront.
Welcome back to Trade Talks, where we continue our discussion with Marco Pascual, the CEO and President of Bruno's Services Corporation. So Marco, let's talk about your plans to go international. I know you're looking at North America. Can you tell us more about these plans?
Yeah, it's always something we've been excited about, whether it's in North America or in Australia or in the Middle East. But currently, I think we're more focused in the United States because of a potential opportunity to acquire a brand, although our discussions are still premature right now and still in the early stages.
Mm-hmm. Should everything go as planned, when do you think that acquisition could take place?
Hopefully within the year. But we're taking our time. We're very conservative in our approach, and it needs careful study. It's not something we do that often.
Is that the primary international market for you right now, the U.S.?
I think it's more opportunistic. The brand presented itself, but we're also happy to explore other possibilities, especially in Australia.
Would you be rebranding it as Bruno's, or would you be
No, I don't think so. I think we will be maintaining
capitalizing on the brand.
Yes, on the brand that they have right now, and hopefully through that experience also, we can bring in Bruno's Barbers as a second step.
Interesting.
Into that
well,
market.
it would be nice to see a homegrown brand
Yes.
overseas. It's always nice to see
Yes.
homegrown brands overseas. Now, going back to here in the Philippines, how would you describe the business and economic landscape for you right now? How is that?
Yeah, well, from my perspective, I'm quite happy. I'm optimistic about the future of the economy of the Philippines. I think the only thing that we have to really worry about is the next natural disaster. That's the only thing I have in my mind. I mean, coming off the pandemic, you never know when these things will happen. But generally speaking, I think we're in a good position. We're in a very lucky place to be in. So
Okay.
I continue to be excited.
Okay, interesting. What is the top requested hairstyle right now?
I think it
For
would have
men
to,
in the Philippines.
It would have to be Asian-centric these days because of the Korean K-pop sensation that's happening around. And so a lot of our clients have been requesting haircuts that are similar to Korean style
How
haircuts.
is that different from Western hairstyles?
I would say that the Western hairstyle is more modern and classic, very standard. It transcends most cultures and generations. And that's a majority of what our market is at Bruno's Barbers. So
And here in the Philippines, I mean, how's everybody wearing
I think
their
we
hair
would
now?
fall more in that category, more in that modern classic.
Modern classic.
Yeah.
And getting from the Koreans also, they're also big on skincare. Is
Yes.
skincare big in your industry right now?
I believe so, yes. I think more and more I'm seeing products that are specific to men, and I'm seeing it also in just in my shower alone. The shelf space I'm taking is starting to grow.
Okay, our producer has a question.
Yes.
Can you talk about the event where you cut the hair of Navy personnel?
Oh, yeah. So we had this collaborative event with the Philippine Navy. Apparently, they are in need of trainers for their Navy officers, especially those that are out at sea. And so we trained the trainers of the Philippine Navy, and we were very happy to do that. I think it happened about late last year.
And that haircut has to be very tight because they
Correct.
don't get to do that often.
Correct. And I told
Short
them,
of kalbo.
Yeah. And my message to them was that I'm sure that if you get the haircut, you'll be braver.
Okay, another question I wanted to ask you. When people ask for haircuts here in the Philippines, who is the celebrity peg these days?
Mostly Korean.
So is there a particular Korean actor?
Honestly, they all look the same to me. In
They
terms,
all look-
right? The hairstyle looks all the same to me, but generally speaking, Korean actors or Korean male actors.
Okay, and I'm sure you get a lot of special requests.
Yes.
What is the most unique or top of mind, the craziest personal request you've had in this service industry?
Yes, there was a request by a client, and I think the request came in as a medical request, and we thought that it would be in a house, and apparently the request was in the new Bilibid prison in Muntinlupa, and we were quite surprised about that.
Whoa.
And we also have some loyal and old-time clients that are in their sickly stage these days, and we always try to be, accommodating.
Yeah.
of those.
So you do a lot of home visits as well.
Yes.
How much of the business is on home visits?
Oh, very little, very little. We don't actually do it. We only do it in special cases.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly medical
All right.
cases.
Social media is a big factor right now in business. Period. How is that? How do influencers and how is your strategy on the social media era? I mean, how are you going about this?
I think influencers are very influential because of the name, influencers. And but more importantly, I think that the brand and the influencer has to be aligned in the story. And if it comes out authentically, the messaging that you want to give out to the public, and it can become very powerful. What's hard is if you try too hard. Yeah, then it doesn't really resonate with your clients.
Your brand is about 36 years old, since 1988. You're at the top of your game. What advice can you give to entrepreneurs that want to grow a brand with longevity as you have?
I think as entrepreneurs, you just really have to enjoy what you do. It's very important because not everything that you will be doing in business will be fun, but yet I think in the broader scheme of things, in the grander scheme of things, you have to generally enjoy what you're doing, and if you enjoy it, you'll definitely make sure that things work out for you.
I feel that enjoyment, Marco.
Yeah.
And I know your mom founded this business.
Yes.
What's it like working with family and that transition process?
It's been great. I've been lucky to really experience the leadership of my mom, of my three other aunts who are part of the business, and I think I'd like to think that I got the best parts of what they were doing when they were managing the business, and hopefully I'm making them proud.
Yeah. What did you learn from these females that started a barbershop,
Sure.
mind you? What did you learn from them that you can perhaps teach people watching today?
They're very detailed. I think women are generally very detailed, and it's hard for me to do, but it's always a good reminder how important that is in running a business.
And the character traits and the core competencies you need to survive in this industry.
Yes.
What
yes.
are they?
Resilience, especially during the pandemic. When we were locked, when we had to shut down for 6 months with zero sales, I think you really have to be resilient during that period. Yeah.
What are your newest product offerings?
We're coming out with more pomade varieties. We're also coming out with our soaps. And hopefully we can launch those products out soon before the end of the year.
Yeah, all right. And what is your outlook for the entire industry?
Very optimistic. I think in the next 10 years, we will be seeing a lot of exciting
And
stuff.
the optimism is coming from, is it the economic growth trajectory? What do we have now that we didn't have over the past couple of years?
Just the general economic excitement. I think many industries are also booming as we speak, not just in the service industry. Maybe the F&B is also growing. Maybe some sectors of the infrastructure, public infrastructure is also growing. Yeah, and that all contributes to the economic progress of the country. And again, if we have that,
and
more Filipinos
lastly,
will have that.
If you could request anything from the government to really help grow this industry, to help propel it forward, what would it be? What requests from the government?
I hope that they would also listen to other organizations, especially organizations like us, growing organizations, and we're quite proud of the brand and what we have done in the country. And I think if we can have a more collaborative effort between businesses such as ours and the government, I think it would be a very powerful thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you want from the government specifically?
Maybe more support in terms of understanding certain business models. The economic environment is changing every day. It's happening at a rapid pace. You have online now, and different kinds of business models are suddenly appearing.
That's right.
Business models that we didn't see 10 years ago. Yeah, and I think they are great business models. I think they contribute a lot to the economy. And if the government would be open to hearing and learning more about these different industries, I think we can be a beautiful thing. Yeah.
All right. In terms of payments, with fintech on the rise now, how much % of the payments made to Bruno's are electronic, and how much of it are just typical cash, the way it normally was?
Yeah, electronic payments are growing in the advent of GCash, PayMaya, but I'd still say it's about 30 to 40% of our total transactions. A good chunk is still via cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see that changing over the years?
I think so, yeah.
With the bulk being from cashless transactions?
Correct, yeah. More cashless transactions. And also as the retail experience improves, I think even that part, the payment process part, will also be more seamless for the clients.
Thank you for your time this morning,
so
Marco, the President and CEO of the Bruno's Barber Services Corporation. And that's it for today's show. I'm Maiki Oreta. Stay up to date on the latest in business and the economy here on Trade Talks. Catch us again tomorrow, only here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.